Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andrew Seegers, and this time we're joined by Ash Paulson to discuss our hands-on time with Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. So, let's get started. Alright Ash, so at this point we've both been able to try Mario Tennis Ultra Smash for a fair amount of time, I think, or at least enough to see what seems like might be most of the content in the game.
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, I thought it'd be fun for us just to talk about our impressions real quick of the game. So let's go start off with you. What did you think of the game overall from what you played so far?
I mean, it's Mario Tennis in HD. I mean, I don't know. It's Mario Tennis. Like, there's really nothing else to say about it. It looks nice, I guess, but it's Mario Tennis, and it just seems really uninspired beyond that.
Calling it Mario Tennis is almost selling it to, or is almost saying too much about it. Because when I think of Mario Tennis, I think of, like, themed courts and having fun gimmicks.
Yeah, that's true. And then this doesn't have that. It has, like, the basic, real-life tennis courts, like clay and grass, and that's about it. Like, there are a few more, but I mean, they don't have any, like, seriously, they don't have any themed after various places in the Mushroom Kingdom, which is something you'd think they would have in Mario Tennis.
This game's weird, man, because, I mean, the very core of it still plays, pretty well. Like, I still had fun with it while playing it at the preview event. But it also just felt like it's something I've seen before, 4 or 5 times, only now with seemingly less content. I mean, they did release a trailer shortly after we played the game, and it did show a few new things, like a couple of new courts, and that's really about it. Yeah, I don't know. This is such a weird thing for me because the core gameplay is still fine. It just I already have 4 or 5 games that have that same core gameplay. So the main thing here, of course, is that they're adding the Mega Mushroom mode, I believe.
Yeah, the Mega Mushrooms. Yeah.
Yeah. Where random mushrooms are thrown onto the court, your character turns huge, and they basically become more powerful and have like a gigantic reach. So that's like their gimmick for this game. That's their main mode. Just kind of like their version of Mario Tennis on the GameCube, where instead of power shots, you have Mega Mushrooms this time. What did you think of that?
It adds almost nothing to the gameplay, in my opinion. I mean, it makes your character bigger, and you can reach farther, or they can reach farther, and they're stronger. I mean, it's just also uninspired. It just feels very by the books, and almost like they're just kind of like crapping it out just to have something out there for the holiday season besides Animal Crossing that people might, that has Mario in it basically. And yeah, it just doesn't really, it feels like they're trying to get by with the bare minimum, honestly.
I have my complaints about Mario Tennis Open, but at least they did try some new things with that game, even if they all didn't work. And here, they are trying new things, except it's not things, it's thing. That's the Mega Mushrooms. Yeah. It is really weird. I don't know. It's weird because the game was still fun, but there reaches a point where that doesn't really matter anymore because we've seen this so many times before, and there really doesn't seem to be much new going on here. They are adding Amiibo support as well in a style similar to Smash Brothers, where you train them up. Which I'm sure some people will really enjoy. That doesn't personally appeal to me that much.
Me neither. I mean, at least you can take them online, unlike Smash Brothers, where you can't, which I feel like you should be able to. Or, you should at least be able to fight alongside them in other various modes. But right. At least Mario Tennis allows you to do that.
That is kind of cool. Yeah, that is a nice addition. I am wondering to what extent they will learn from you in this game, if at all. Because, Smash Brothers had that thing where I'm still not sure how much they actually learned from you, but there were videos showing, like, if you did a move a lot, the Amiibo kind of mimic that to some degree.
Right.
And I wondered to what extent you can see that in tennis, because, I mean, it's tennis. You're hitting a ball back and forth. I mean, there's a ton of depth to it, but
there are fewer ways for your individual play style to kind of manifest itself in your
Exactly.
Amiibo. Yeah.
And even if it were, I don't think it's something I would even notice.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess it's cool that they're doing that, but it just, again, it feels like they're kind of checking off the list. It's like there's kind of going down the list on the expected features of a Wii U game, and Amiibo support's just one of those things that there's like, okay, got to check that off, and then let's just find another way to do the basic implementation of the next thing on the list.
I don't know, man. It feels weird. I'm trying to think of positive things to say about my experience with it, and I mean, it is easy to gloss over the positives, simply because we've played them so many times now. That what is positive doesn't really stand out anymore. And, again, it's that the core gameplay is still fine. But that's all there is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible game by any means. Yeah. It's fine. It just doesn't stand out in any way. And if you own any other Mario Tennis game, you already have a better game that does exactly what this game does.
I mean, that is what's funny is in Europe, Dan was telling me about this, that if you pre-order, they have some kind of bonus where you will get Mario Tennis 64 on the Virtual Console for free as part of that, and it's even exclusive for a little while. I think it's like a 2-month window where it's exclusive, where you can only play it if you have
Nice.
Mario Tennis on the Wii U. And I mean, that's kind of awesome. That's a cool deal. But it's like, why would you even bother with Mario Tennis on Wii U then? Like, I mean, it has online and it looks way better. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But Mario Tennis on 64 overall, I thought it was a better game based on what I played so far. Maybe that'll change for the review. But it had gimmick courts. It had that Bowser court where it had Mario Kart style items in the middle. And
right.
You know what's funny? The thing is, like, I'm not necessarily even a huge fan normally of any particular gimmick court by itself. Like, they're fun for a while. But oftentimes I'll just fall back in the core tennis. But I liked having them as an option. Like, I liked that they were there. I could switch to them when I wanted something new. And even then, like, they had like character courts in the original, which functioned like standard courts, but at least looked distinct.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I think one of my big problems is how overall bland it looks, because the actual graphics themselves are good, but the stadium itself, it's the same. It's always the same stadium. It's actually very nicely detailed. But you're gonna see the same stadium every time, because the only thing that changes is the court panels themselves.
Which then, why not just buy a regular tennis game? I mean, you buy Mario Tennis because you want it to be tennis with a Mario spin on it, and this literally just feels like regular old tennis with Mario characters and the occasional Mega Mushroom. I mean. It just I like it. It feels too sterile, like that's kind of I made the comparison earlier when we were talking about it to Mario Kart Wii, and I like Mario Kart Wii more than this, even though it's probably like my least favorite Mario Kart game or one of them. But the title screen, the menus, and just kind of overall presentation for Mario Kart Wii was very sterile. It wasn't Mario Kart like at all. Mm-hmm. It was just a very kind of standard interface, and just to kind of serve the game in the most basic way. It didn't feel very Mario-like at all. And that's kind of how I feel about this.
So I actually like Mario Kart Wii, but I totally understand about the presentation, but I agree with that. It had a very sterile presentation.
Yeah.
And that is the same feeling I got from this game. I mean, what's funny is I think I was describing to you earlier, about the main menu, which you also saw, is that the main mode is the Mega mode, and it takes up a gigantic portion of that menu. And I was thinking, if this were any other Mario Tennis, that would be like one of the smaller icons, like shuttled off to the side. That should not. I feel like that shouldn't be the main mode here, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a sub mode, and there's something else that should be the main focus of this game that the game's simply missing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I think my favorite thing about the game is the character animations are particularly inspired. Like the character animations are really cute. Especially like once you've scored a point, and that kind of small window of time between having scored the point and then the game resetting itself to the next round. Like, your character will, if you walk around using the control stick, your character will be doing some sort of celebratory kind of skip or happy kind of walk, and it's great. I mean, it brought a smile to my face. It made me laugh. I mean, the animations are very good.
They are,
and very character specific. There's a ton of personality in those animations and how the characters actually look on screen. But beyond that, that's really it. That's honestly, I hate to say it, but that's really the only kind of unique positive point I can think about.
I mean, what's funny is I'm not even sure. I think I'm pretty sure even the original Mario 1064 had the controllable celebration animations.
Oh, I mean, and it probably did. At least,
Yeah.
at least in this game, they look particularly great because the graphics are really nice. But
yeah, and
again, that's about it.
And I do like the replays too. Like whenever someone like unleashes a power shot or gets a winning shot, and like it slows down dramatically to like. These animations must be, at least for the replays, must be like super high in frame rate because it looks so smooth, seeing them slow down dramatically. And I showed one in the preview where like you can see like the intensity in DK's face. He's just hammering the ball, and that's great. That's awesome. I guess actually real quick we should touch on again. I think we skipped over the Mega Mushroom mode pretty quick. I mean, which might kind of give an idea of how we feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really does. I mean, what else is there really to say about the Mega Mushroom mode except that, Mega Mushrooms are occasionally thrown onto the court, and if you grab one, you turn really big, and your power and reach increase for a while, and for like, a few seconds, and then you're back to normal. I mean, really, what else is there to say?
Yeah, so it does introduce one somewhat interesting mechanic that I like, or feature, I guess, and that is I did find when I was playing, there were times when like my opponent had a Mega Mushroom, and then they tossed one out on my side of the court. It seems like as soon as one person gets one, you never go too long without having one or having the option to get one. But that's where a risk versus reward element entered the picture, was because I was in a tough spot, like trying to, when I was returning the ball, I had trouble. I wasn't sure when the best time was to go for the Mega Mushrooms. It was kind of off to the side, and so I had to decide like when to leave this good position I had for returning the ball to actually grab the Mega Mushroom. And I introduced like a slightly interesting mechanic, but most of the time they usually just throw the mushroom right onto you, or close enough where it's not an issue.
And I mean, I kind of feel like this is the kind of thing where Mario Tennis fans or existing fans are just going to kind of ignore this mode in favor of the classic mode, which plays like Mario Tennis 64 anyway.
And I do want to give them credit. Like, I am glad that mode exists.
Me too.
My biggest problem with Mario Tennis Open, I didn't like the new challenge shot mechanic. I thought it was a waste of time. Basically, I mean, it shoehorned this. It basically made tennis feel like a completely linear sport. We were running from chance shot to chance shot to get the most powerful shots. And if you missed, like if you didn't get to one, you had to dramatically weaker shots. So it made sense to run to the spots. And it kind of damaged the overall game. Yeah. And those shots return in this game, which to me is a big problem, or to me, is a problem for me. But you can turn them off, which is awesome. And that was the second mode I tried. Like immediately I hopped over to simple mode. I'm like, I want to play it this way. I don't want to play with the Mega Mushrooms or chance shots. And yeah, that worked pretty well. Like I had fun with that, and I really hope that's available online. Because I didn't have a chance to check out the online mode options at all, so I really hope that's available online. But that's the way I want to play, probably, is without the Mega Mushrooms most of the time.
Yeah, I hope it is too. I mean, and I would normally I would say, yeah, of course it will be. But looking at how Smash Brothers tournaments were implemented, I have my doubts.
Yep.
Like I just I don't know, online game options online really don't seem to be Nintendo's strong suit. Like just in general, it seems like the kind of options you have to play any of their games online are kind of canned and pre-selected. Like, Mario Kart 8, for example, you can't actually select a course; you have to select from 3 or a random course.
Right.
And then even then, it's a roulette type thing. I mean, I was playing with a buddy in Smash last night online, and it still drives me crazy that you can't do anything other than to have the game select randomly between the stages you pick. You can't have it, alternate between you and the person you're playing with, even with friends. It has to be a completely random selection between what the two of you picked.
Well,
and yeah,
Triforce Heroes is an indication. Maybe they're finally learning, because they at least have the I don't care option.
Yeah,
which
true.
Allows other players to pick. So
yeah, I mean, and I know we had made mention earlier about the game needing to be saved, and that's not necessarily true. I mean, it's not a terrible game. It's just, it doesn't stand out in any way. I mean, if you don't own any of the previous Mario Tennis games, save for the 3DS one, and you don't really have a way to play them, I mean, yeah, okay, it's Mario Tennis. It's just not the best version of it. And if you can play a previous version, it doesn't seem like there's really a reason not to.
Right, yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. Like, it's not a terrible game, but it's just one that doesn't excite me at all from what I've played. Because it's all stuff we've seen before, and it reaches a point where you can only play the same thing so many times before it ceases to amuse that much, right?
Yeah, and so, I guess full disclosure, I'm not like a hardcore Mario Tennis fan. Like, I've enjoyed some of the games in the series enough. I've never played the 3DS one, so I like the original. I kind of like the GameCube one. I didn't play the 3DS one, so I'm not like a hardcore Mario Tennis fan, so, take that into account. But
so, I actually am.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I love Mario Tennis on 64. I didn't like the GameCube one quite as much, but I still had a really good time with it, and they did a fantastic job trying out new things, and, just making it feel like a true Mario Tennis game with a bunch of different mini games, themed courts, and of course the themed open, or the fully animated opening to the game, which is something we haven't seen in a long time now.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, this game doesn't have it either from what I saw, so...
Yeah, I doubt it.
Oh, it's so sad. Those were so good.
They were. It's the same thing for Mario Golf, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, that's where I'm coming from. Like, I'm coming from a history of Mario Tennis games that truly felt like they embraced the spirit of Mario. As you mentioned, like, you know, they felt like Mario games.
Yeah.
And this one doesn't. It really, it doesn't, it feels like just a tennis game that has Mario in it.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly, you know, it really does feel like it's just something that's kind of been just pushed out the door as quickly as possible by Nintendo to have something, anything in their holiday lineup that people might want to get.
The only thing I wonder is if they might adopt a Splatoon-like model where they release new content on a regular basis, like if that's how they release like themed courts or something, or change something up. But
I don't see it happening. I don't see the tail of this game being that long. Honestly, I feel like it's going to be a one and done thing, and will be by and large forgotten about by Nintendo by 2016.
Yeah,
like by January even.
You're probably not wrong, unfortunately. So
yeah, I mean, I hope I am. I think it'd be great if we did, get character themed courts as DLC later on, free DLC. But if those things aren't already part of the base game, even a little bit, that kind of has me worried.
I do like the core gameplay of these games, but I also like everything they add on top of that makes it feel like a unique, fun experience, and that's something that's in very small doses here. So
yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of my favorite features from the original game, and I think the GameCube game, was the ring mode, where you have to specifically aim your ball through rings that appear in the court, and I don't think that's here either.
Not from what I saw. I checked out everything on the main menu, and that wasn't there at all.
And I love that mode. So it's just even small things like that. Like, there's so few extras on top of the basic tennis gameplay, and then when you take out the themed courts and the themed items other than the Mega Mushrooms, on top of that, you're left with a very basic Mario game that has Mario characters. You're left with a very basic tennis game that has Mario characters in it.
Yep. It's true. Yeah, well, we'll see if there's anything more to it when the final game comes out, which should be getting up pretty soon, I imagine, because it comes out in under a month now. So
yeah.
All right, well, I think that about wraps up for us here. There really isn't much more to say about this game.
No, sadly.
So thanks, guys, for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. You can find links to them in the description below. It's a good way to keep up to date on everything you post. And, of course, keep an eye on GameXplain for more on Mario Tennis, Ultra Smash, and other things gaming as well. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.